Hello everybody, welcome back to Waffles RC. For all of you that are new here, which there is quite a number of new people here, just want to say welcome. Hope you enjoy. Hope I can keep entertaining and giving everybody ideas. I love hearing everybody's ideas. I did start an Instagram page so that way people can show me what they're working on, because that's what I want to see. Don't know how to use Instagram very well, so give me time to learn. Still figuring it out. I'll start posting pictures of progress and everything like that. That comes before videos, so if you want a sneak peek, you can go check it out. I'll put the name right here, or whatever the Instagram, it's right here. Go look it up on Instagram. I also have my email, which is right here, so that way if you guys have any other questions or anything, you can contact me through there. Other update, I am working on sound. I know it's atrocious. I've been really struggling. I'm not a video person, just learning as I go, so I hope you guys can bear with me on that one. But let's get back to the hauler and see what little progress I've made. There's a few updates that I did off of camera. Today we're going to get back on the hauler. Just spent the entire day putting rock lights on the Tacoma there. You know, I like to customize all things. Little cars, big cars. It's all a lot of fun. You guys have given me some great ideas of what to do in this area. Off camera, I did add that bar right there, so that way I have a spare tire there. It is out of the way. If I have a crawler that can't get over that, then the crawler is not worthy in my opinion. And if it can't get over that, it certainly isn't going to get onto this bed. So don't worry about that. I just wanted to add a spare tire on there for fun. So I'm going to get started on making some toolboxes or something of that nature right under here. But first, actually, I just realized I got the transmission. So I'm going to make the transmission mount and mount the transmission and the transfer case and see what has to be done from there. So this is the transmission I decided to go with for this truck. It's a forward mount planetary gear style, has a single output, so you have to run a transfer case. I have the same style transmission in that one and that one, and in the white Toyota as well. The difference is this one is a 2-speed, so we'll see how long that lasts. It's worth a try, and figured try to get this thing to go a little faster. I also did get a transfer case for this thing, so let's get this mounted just like that. I'm gonna get it mounted somewhere in this area right here, and then the transfer case somewhere else. Here are the tabs that I made. So now I'm just gonna get it in there straight, tack them in, and move on to the mount for the transfer case. It helps to turn the welder on. So this is the transfer case I got, just a cheap Amazon one. I think it was like 25 bucks. Multiple places to put your input, output. If you want different speeds, you can. If you don't want different speeds, you don't have to. It's gonna mount somewhere about right there, and hopefully we can make that work. Let's see. So I made this fun little drawing here because it represents that. So I need it that width, but I need it to bend up, so I'm going to cut that out, bring those up, and then weld it like a cradle under. There's the little cradle that I made. It's just a cradle that sits in. So now I'm gonna mark those holes on a piece of tape, transfer them into that to be able to bolt that to that, which will then get welded into that. Alright, and there's the cradle. The welds are not pretty. I can't get a grinder in there, but luckily I had forethought. And here at Waffles RC, when we have bad welds, we just cover it up. Now you can't see them. And that's all that matters. Time for the toolboxes. Okay, so I know I'm not working on the toolboxes yet because I got the transfer case in and I found some of my drive shafts and I realized how far it was for the front drive line. I got this carrier bearing. I'm pretty sure it's for a 14th scale, one of the big rigs. So now I'm going to have another drive shaft, but now this one's not as long. Doesn't protrude out as much as it would if it was all the way back there. Is it my fault for putting this way back here? Yes. But transmission needed to connect to it. I chose to go with this type of transmission. I knew I was going to have to do a transfer case. I still have this length that I have to do, or that I have to get, but these are the things that come with a custom build. I wanted it this long, so now I have to do what I can to make everything work. Okay, now I promise I'll get on the toolboxes. So I'm going to do toolboxes right here. They're not going to have, you know, a functioning... That was easy. Trying to do a side one and trying to connect it. This just uses gravity. I can do with gravity. These ones are going to be hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the 3 walls and the bottom, and then when it lifts up, then you can get into stuff. I'm going to leave it connected to the frame. So the bed essentially will be the toolbox's top. This is what I come up with to try and make it all one piece. Here's the front side, bottom, the side, the side, the back side. Obviously the X's mean take them out. The goal is to just etch it with the cutoff wheel and fold it and then weld it all together, and hopefully it looks somewhat nice. Got the toolboxes somewhat made. They look like a box, just with no lid. Now I will admit, I am not good at welding sheet metal, but with a grinder, it comes out okay. I'm just not good at sheet metal. It's very thin. I'm used to much thicker material, so it's hard for me to work with it, but it's the only way you learn is by keep doing it, keep trying. Oh, also, don't weld in the wind. Makes it a lot harder. I'll get this one cleaned up just like this one, and then mock it up on the truck, see what it looks like. There are toolboxes. Still have some trimming to do, but it does fill up that space, doesn't stick down too far. You know, some stickers or some painting by one of my friends can make this actually look like a toolbox on the outside. And then when you lift up, there you go. There's the other one. So I had to leave this gap here because that's where the rams go. So that's why that is open and not any bigger. Let's see with the truck with the body on it. Hold on. So I put the springs in the front. They're too stiff until I get more weight, but I just wanted to see. And yes, nothing is truly straight. I know that that edge isn't straight. The tank isn't really level. None of it's really straight. It's a little RC car. I'm not overly concerned about that. So if you want everything perfectly straight, you go ahead and do it. That is your choice. I am perfectly happy with how this thing is turning out, even with its imperfections. That just makes it more mine. So next, I'm gonna get on some steps. Good morning. I'm going to make steps / sliders. Try to make it functional as a slider, but make it kind of look like a step, I guess. I don't know. It's just the scale points. That's what we're going for. I'm using the same cutoff label. It's 36. It's the same tube as all the other tube stuff that I make. Even though it's just a rod, call it what you want. It's 3/16 rod. It's what I use, so I'll just get started. Lots of cutting and grinding later, and that's the idea of it. Put it up on there. I'm just going to weld it right to the bottom of the frame. Something else for the body to sit on, and I'll give it a little bit of an angle. Gonna fill in that space, but I gotta weld these up first before I can put it on there. Okay, got them all welded up. The only issue with that was I tried to put the camera on time lapse, and apparently it helps to hit the record button when you do that. So just imagine, if you will, watching me weld a bunch of little sticks together. There's some sliders / steps, so it'll still help protect everything because, well, it's metal. Starting to look like a truck. I gotta make these shocks shorter. It's all out of whack. I gotta work on that still. We got sliders on, toolboxes. Now I'm gonna work on one more thing. I'm gonna try it. One person suggested it, and I really want to try it to see if I can make it work. So I'll be right back and you'll see what I come up with. So this was the idea that somebody had. Just a little lever box to make it look like it has hydraulic things. Just another scale point for this truck. You know, got little levers. It's got it on the other side too. See, there's the box. Mounted them there on the box. I may put some like wire or something just to make it look a little bit more like something, but we'll see. Bed will be down most of the time, so I don't know how much detail I want to go into these things, but whoever that was, thank you very much. That was a fun challenge. It took about 45 minutes just to make the first one, then about 20 minutes to make the second one, but I think that's really fun. Alright guys, I think that's all I got for the accessory stuff. Got our slider slash step on there. Got our toolboxes. Got our little adjusters. I thought that was a lot of fun. But if we look in the well, I don't mind if I do. Good use for the toolboxes right there. Cheers. I think we're just gonna go and full weld everything. I gotta get drive shafts for it. Shouldn't talk with food in your mouth. I'm gonna get all the rest of the drive shafts that I need for it. Start adjusting the suspension. Pretty certain that that's all I'm gonna put on this thing for right now. Get it fully welded out, adjust everything. Okay, so in the last video you saw I made the toolboxes. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I had the little servo mounts for the lockers for the diff. Oh, I guess I glossed over the fact that this thing has drive shafts now, all the way front, back, middle to the transmission. But as you can see, I had to move the locker servos. That is because trying to make my own mounts for it was very hard. Where I had them, at least this back one mounted, was in the way of the bed. It would have stuck up way through here, so cut that off. And what I did was I butchered the stock TRX4 servo mounts from inside of my Bronco. Ignore the wiring mess. It's my first RC, so this was the definition of experimenting for me. So down in here is where the locker servos sat for the front and rear diff of this one. Or for this truck, I put a spool in the back and I have a spool for the front. I did that because I was never turning the lockers off of the Bronco, so I just put a spool in it. Made it a lot easier. Also, the little carrier the servos sit in on these things, I just looked it up on Traxxas website. It's a little plastic piece. Both the servos sit right inside of it. It's $6. So if you're trying to build your own RC with Traxxas axles, then you can buy that piece, cut it up, so that way you still retain the piece that holds the actual cable so that the servo can shift the locker. Cut it up, made some mounts, so that way that one's mounted there now and it's out of the way of the bed. This one also had to cut the mounts for, but that is just a stock piece from a Traxxas TRX4 that has lockers as an option, which mine did. It no longer has them, so this truck does. So I had to make new mounts, cut the old ones off. Once again, that's why you tack weld everything. Don't fully weld it out until you have everything in there and you know that everything works. Pro tip, because I'm a professional. So other things I did was got the steering hooked up, track bar, got my caster angle a little bit better. It was really steep, so I had to change that. All the arms were adjustable. I adjusted everything on the back, so now my pinion angles are nice and straight. The drive shafts don't fall out like they were doing, or at least this back one was falling out. Every time this one went up and that one went down, it just came apart. But once I corrected the angles, everything was good. So for this one, I guess all that's left is to pretty it up. Just gonna put some plates on here for more electronics to sit. I'm gonna clean up the battery box, make it look a little bit nicer because it does not look nice. Then I'm gonna take the axles, suspension, everything is going to come back off of this. I'm gonna fully weld it out. So let's get started, see what it looks like all taken apart. And there's the frame completely stripped. Gonna go through, do all the final welds on everything because it's all just tacked in, remember? Make everything look a little bit nicer, make it a bit stronger. Remember, it's an RC, so I'm not really over concerned about carrying, you know, something that heavy. It's carrying those. Yep, we're pretty close to the picture. I'm happy with it. All right. I'll get started welding and you'll see what it looks like when I have it all finished up. I know it's hard to tell other than these plates right here, but I did the full weld out. Everything's welded. Still have to grind it. It's not pretty. So this is essentially ready for my paint job, also known as I'm going to leave it outside to rust. And then I'll clean up the stuff that I want to be shiny after it gets its surface rust and then clear coat the whole thing. My idea for how this truck is supposed to look like if it was a real truck was good old boy had a truck in his backyard, then came across some money. So he put all the fancy axles, fancy suspension, all that stuff, but really liked the rusty look of the truck and the trailer. So that's my goal for what I want this truck to look like. Now, will it look like that? We'll find out. I'm not even very good at painting all the other ones, so I don't know how this whole rust patina thing is going to go for me, but only way to find out is to try. Also, I'm sure that it's easy to tell, but when I take everything apart, I leave all the arms and all the hardware on as much stuff as possible, so that way it's just easy to bolt it right back up to the truck. So yes, this all looks like a jumbled mess, and it is. But I know exactly where it all goes because everything is still connected to it. I don't like to take it off every single part and then you have to label it. You just take it all off, one lump thing, there you go. Now you have everything set up exactly where you need it to be set up. That's just what works for me. When it comes to organization, you do what helps you be organized. I'm not entirely organized, but I do have a system. It's just hard to tell what it is. Okay, got the bed all finished up too. Got rid of those holes that were there and there. Same on that side. So the bed is all done as well. Ow. Spare tire carrier. Hold on. Okay. Now it's all done. Got the spare tire carrier, the bar for the spare tire. Got that welded in, grinded it smooth. That's about where we're at with this thing. Now I just need to let it rust. Everybody has mentioned, which is a good idea, to use skateboard tape for the top. I use bed liner. That's what I used on my gooseneck. I taped it off, did bed liner on this part, and then I sprayed the rest of the thing black. So that way it has grip, but it looks like it's all part of it. And I don't have to worry about the tape peeling up. Not that I would know if it does that, because I've never tried it. But the bed liner has worked incredible. So I'm going to do that to this and the trailer. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for the truck. just want to thank everybody who's new here. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. The whole point for me for this channel is to show people what you can do with this hobby without having to spend a ton of money or buy one off the shelf. Like, you can make one of these things and make them pretty crazy, honestly. If you go back and watch my old videos, you can see how I built the Cadillac that has adjustable suspension on it, which is right there, I think, somewhere right there. Screen's very small. It's behind me. So I built that one. I also built the white Toyota. A lot of you have been watching that. So you can make these things pretty simple, or you can make them super crazy. It all depends on what you want to do. So from Waffles RC, that's going to be it for now. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to get started back on the trailer. I said I was going to do it off camera, but figured to show you the process of what I was doing with it. So everybody seems to be interested in the trailer the most. So I'll get started on the trailer and you guys will see it on the next video. Thanks for watching.